Welcome back to my kitchen. I have already made one decision around dinner, and that is it's chicken for dinner. The question is, what am I going to do with the chicken? This is kind of threatening, so let me put it down. What I'm going to do with the chicken, or what goes with the chicken, or that's the question that I ask. Two questions I ask myself, right? And it's my intention with this video, or before I even say that, even though right, so I have made that decision. I am making chicken for dinner, or chicken is for dinner. Chicken thigh specifically is for dinner. But what do I do with the chicken, and what is going to go with the chicken are the follow-up questions. So I've already made one decision, so then there are other decisions that need to be made. But it still does not equal a meal. I still have to make those decisions that's going to bring me to that conclusion. And so what I am going to show you, or my intention is to show you how that one ingredient, the chicken thighs, which I have yet to clean and season, which I'm going to do now, how that one decision that I've already made now becomes a full meal, or the decisions that take place after that bring me to a full meal. So stick around for it. I'm going to clean the chicken, season it, and come back. All right, so I'm back. Chicken has been cleaned and seasoned, and I'm going to leave it sitting for a little bit because I'm going to continue with the program. So the chicken has been decided. What does that tell you? That tells you that's the anchor. If you watch yesterday's video or the video before that, where I mentioned what the anchor is, it's basically the meal, that the ingredient that you're building the rest of the meal around. So with this, I have chicken. Now what else? I start by just recognizing that that's what I have. Chicken, thighs, that's the anchor. And so how do I make decisions on what to accompany the chicken with? So the first thing is to check what's available. So having already done that, I see I have two options, which seem to be the only two options I've been mentioning. Actually three. What's available. So if you know anything about basic bone nutrition thus far from watching previous videos, is that when I think of a meal, I think of a balanced meal. I think of a bowl filled with protein, carbs, vegetables, healthy fats, and something to make it taste good. So building a meal with that in mind helps me to look at the other components of the meal that I am going to want. And so by looking at what's available, that tells me what I have, and therefore what I can use to accompany the meal. Given that scenario, or given that second thing, given what's available, I now can see possibilities. So I have rice, so that's a possibility, an easy one. I have frozen sweet potatoes, so that's another one. I have pasta, that's another one. I have some noodles, that's another option. I have some quinoa, so that's the carb. Remember also when I said every ingredient has a job, so I'm looking for the thing that's gonna add some substance to this meal. And so these are the possibilities: rice, sweet potato, pasta, some noodles. Which one am I going to choose? And that is another decision that has to be made. And so what you're going to do, or what I do, is look at what my reality is. One, I don't have a lot of time, so I want something quick. And two, if I didn't have the energy for this, I probably would choose something else. But given the fact that I'm fine energy-wise and I want to have this done quickly, I'm choosing, my reality is, those are my realities, or that's the reality, and so I'm going to make the decision based on that. So when you think of your reality, you have to think of, is there anything that needs to be used up? For me, it's just the veggies in the fridge that might need to be used up. Everything else is either shelf stable or in the freezer. You have to look at what sounds good to you. What sounds good to me today is something almost Jamaican, but also my husband told me what he wanted for dinner. So that kind of helped make that decision, as well as the effort that you're willing to put into it. So that's the third thing. What is your reality? And your reality is, how much time do you have? What sounds good and appealing to you? If there are any foods that need to be used up, do they, are they compatible with this meal? And any food is really compatible. Most foods are, if you ask me, but that's a different conversation. So that is looking at what the reality is. So for me, I'm choosing rice, and I'm also choosing beans. I'm gonna make a Jamaican rice and peas. I also don't want it to take a lot of time, so I'm going to cook it in the instant pot. So that's my reality. It's not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to do the chicken in the air fryer because the husband wants crispy skin on the chicken thighs. So that has helped me make the decisions of what this meal is going to look like. And then I'm going to round it out with some lettuce greens that I have. I have some grape tomatoes, which that's what can be used up, because I don't want them to go bad. So I have some cherry tomatoes, so those will go with the salad. So I've given you what the possibilities are, but I've also narrowed it down to what's real, or I've narrowed it down based on what's real. So then now I'm going to cook and build the meal. So I have already washed my beans, so I'm just gonna add them to my Instant Pot. My rice is already washed. If you don't know how to make Jamaican rice and peas, I have a video of that on the channel, so you can go check it out. So I have the rice in here, the coconut milk. It's already seasoned with salt. I'm just gonna add some thyme and let it cook. I'm also using canned beans because, again, ease of use. Makes it easy to cook given the time constraints. Now, while all of that is cooking, I wanted to follow up with what else this could possibly be, depending on a different reality. Remember, I said that the fourth thing is what your realities will dictate the rest of your decisions after you look at what's possible. If the reality was I was in no mood to cook, physically cook, or I had very much less ingredients, so I didn't have all the options. So for example, if I only had the pasta, then my biggest option, or my best option, would be to make some kind of pasta stir fry mix up. That does sound like there's work involved, but with the air fryer taking care of the chicken and no other cooked substantial dish, then that would be another viable option. Or if I wanted to completely just not do any other cooking besides the chicken, then I could have just made a salad with beans instead and let the beans be the substantial thing, but then you're also getting your veggies. The veggies would have been the tomatoes. I do also have some cucumbers in the fridge, so it could be the tomatoes, the cucumber. I have avocado, which could be added in there. I have red onions, could be added in there, but the problem is you would need to chop those things up. So if you're not trying to do a lot of work, then going with the easiest option would be just having those tomatoes and the lettuce. And if some chickpeas are in there as well, in my fridge as well, so that could have been mixed into some kind of salad with whatever dressing I have in the fridge. So again, depending on what your reality is, you build your meal from there, because if you don't account for your capacity, it don't matter how good of a cook you are, it's gonna feel like a chore. And worst case scenario is that you skip your meal, you don't eat, or you have something like just cereal. Of course, if that's all you're up for, that's all you're up for. But the point what we're trying to do here is nourish ourselves as best as we can, regardless of energy, how much effort you want to put in, and all of that. So think of the one ingredient. I have this one thing, now what? Go back to the other lessons that I've shared or the other videos I've shared in terms of when you look at what you have available to you or look at what's in your pantry, survey that. You let your capacity then drive what you choose to do, because you will always have options. And then keeping, an important thing to note is that if you keep some easy to or low effort food options available, that will always come in handy, because when you don't have the energy and when you don't want to exert effort, it's too late to get that low effort food. You need to have it on hand so that when you find yourself in that situation, you are covered. Because nothing worse than I'm not in the mood to do this, or I don't want to do this, or I don't have the capacity to do this, and you don't have an option besides doing it. So yeah, you might get into the habit of I'm going to do it anyway because I need to eat, and that in and of itself can trigger you to feel better, because it means you're taking care of yourself. Or if you're somebody who enjoys cooking but may have been just low on energy, and the moment you start, it might perk you up. Who knows? I know sometimes it does for me, and then other times you're just plain old tired and just don't want to, and you grumble your way through the preparation. It happens. Grumble your way if you must, but as long as it means that you eat something or you get some kind of nourishment, then hey, a win is a win, grumbly or not. So that is how we build a meal when you're starting with just one ingredient, or if you have already made a decision on one thing. The possibilities are endless, but come back to the questions that you need to ask that will help you to make the simple decisions and therefore the meal that you need to nourish yourself.